Real quick, I do want to address one more time the Pippa situation and Camelot because this needs to be said. And a lot of people wouldn't want to do this and take this position. I mean, I think I talked about it on Locals, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it now in front of everybody with the full knowledge that this will likely bring some backlash. But here we go. Here we go. So the other day, Camelot posted a picture on Twitter. Oh, and for the people saying don't bring Pippa on or whatever, like I get the joke. I would have Pippa on any day. Pippa is always and has always been welcome on the show. And my understanding from discussions with Pippa is that she has always been willing to come on this show. But FaZe Connect is the management company that owns the Pippa character and all of the rights to it and holds a contract with the person who is Pippa. And so FaZe Connect was the one who shut down her initial appearance on the show. Pippa has always been welcome here, would always be welcome here. There's nothing Pippa could do or say to be unwelcome on this show. And I even discussed with FaZe Connect directly my willingness to do something I don't normally do. I said, I will avoid any subject, any controversy or whatever. We won't talk politics. We don't have to talk crime. We don't have to talk anything where Pippa needs to take any sort of public stance on a controversial issue. I just want to talk to someone who is building a really interesting community as a VTuber that looks different than other communities and does it in a little bit of a different way. That's what I want to do. And FaZe Connect said, no, too controversial. So Pipkin Pippa will always be welcome on this show, but Pippa's management, FaZe Connect, very specifically, FaZe Connect is the one who has prevented Pippa from being on the show. If you want to see Pippa on this show, you need to talk to FaZe Connect about it, not me. Like I said, I'm willing to make any sort of concessions about it that they want because I don't want to talk to Pippa about like politics and weird stuff. I want to talk to a VTuber who is kind of funny. Like that's what I would like to do. So that being said, it is FaZe Connect who has prevented this thing from happening forever. But anyway, so who Pippin is, and we'll lead off with this again in public, and we'll put my opinion directly out there. Pipkin Pippa is a VTuber. A VTuber is a virtual tuber, okay? So there's someone who does not appear on camera. Instead, they have an animated avatar. They have an animated avatar, typically in the style of a Japanese anime character that uses motion capture and face capture software to track the actor who is playing the character and mimic the movements with the animated model. And the technology has become more and more available to people to do this, where it's feasible to do it from your home and to do it very, very well as an independent person. All right. So Pipkin Pippa is one of these VTubers and has an explosively grown community. And look, let's just get it out there. VTubers, and more importantly, the VTuber fans, are weird as shit. Very fucking strange. Very weird subgenre of YouTube content creation. But I must say, one of the most popular. And if you go to, there's a website called Playboard, which tracks super chat income of live streamers. What you'll find is that the VTubers dominate the super chat charts. I think last I checked, something like the top 18 of the top 20 global super chat earners were VTubers, which means they blew away people like Tim Pool. They blew away people like me, who for a long time I was number 6 in the US and like number 25 in the world. With the shift away from YouTube and towards Rumble, that obviously has fallen off pretty dramatically. But believe it or not, I was one of the top 25, 26, something like that, super chat earners on the entire planet. But the VTubers at the top triple people like me, Tim Pool, Dr. Disrespect, I Show Speed. Like it's an insanely fervent fan community that they have built. All right. So to be very clear, like, it is a highly dedicated, highly engaged audience. And with that high dedication and high engagement, you have the potential for what we call murderous, insane simpery. And this develops from something that is common online and rapidly expanded under the VTuber and anime umbrella. All right. And this is where someone develops something called a parasocial relationship. That's where a relationship exists between someone who knows a lot about one person, usually due to the other person they know about being a personality or some sort of semi-famous figure, someone that they have access to. But the person who is the object of their relationship doesn't necessarily know the other person back or doesn't know them very well, because their interactions are necessarily limited or truncated by the separation of a screen or something else. People develop parasocial relationships with actors, with documentarians, talk show hosts, anybody who the public would have broad access to, but they don't have a similar avenue of access back to the public just due to the volume of sizes, right? There are various people, and there's nothing wrong with a parasocial relationship. I need to make that very clear. As a matter of course, like, people develop parasocial relationships because they like someone, they like their takes, their presentation, and they get to know a little bit about them and they like things about them. And so they go, I like this person. It's what brings people back to watching the same personalities over and over. So, like, there are plenty of parasocial relationships that I have throughout my lifetime. Rush Limbaugh, right? You kind of feel like you get to know Rush a little bit, or Glenn Beck when I used to listen to Glenn Beck. Various actors, like I used to watch every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie because I was a child and he was awesome. So, like, those types of things were the development of some parasocial relationship. You get to know things about the person, you think you get to know them, but you really don't. You really don't get to know them specifically. Now, with VTubers and with anime, there's a risk that those parasocial relationships are also harboring repressed psychotic sexual urges. Okay? It also happens with female streamers who wear skimpy clothes and stuff like that. But, like, the level of psychosis involved in the VTuber community specifically, and no, if you watch a VTuber, you're not automatically a psychopathic sexual simp, but there's a higher percentage chance in the VTuber community than anywhere else that I've seen that you are. So anyway, what happened is Camelot had Pippa on a stream not too long ago. It's great. Great stream. Fantastic. They made fun of me, which is perfect. And anytime I get mentioned, everything's important. So that's cool. So they did that. And then just a couple days ago, Camelot posted what we in the business called a joke. A joke where he took a picture of a woman and he put an emoji over her face. And he said, this woman, definitely not Pippa, is at my house taking pictures of my cat. All right. Now, I can tell you with certainty, this woman is not Pippa. I have met the woman in the picture. It's not Pippa. That was a joke. It's a joke that people don't get. But here's the problem. Here's the problem with that is that two things happen. One, an alleged doxing of Pippa, or like a reveal of Pippa's actual appearance was done, even though it wasn't. It wasn't that. But that's an illusion shattering event. It shatters the suspension of disbelief that people have that allow them to engage in VTubers. That's one thing. The other thing that happened, which is way funnier, is it then implied that Pippa had a boyfriend that was Camelot, and all of these nerds went into a murderous rage because their digital girlfriend was taken. So hilarious. I love it. It's fucking funny. But here's the thing. Poor Camelot did not realize how horrifying the VTuber community is. And here we've got the picture, actually. This is the picture he posted. I think he has since taken down the tweet. But to reiterate, this is not Pippa. This is not Pippa. Super cool chick. She's super nice. Not Pippa at all. But it was funny. It was funny. And now he's gotten like a bunch of death threats and all sorts of shit. The lesson for everybody who might be new to the internet is don't mess with my online girlfriend. Don't you dare. Don't you mess with my online girlfriend. You can't do that shit. You cannot do that shit. So I don't want to sit here and belabor this issue too much, but if you're not aware of this subgenre of YouTube, like you have to have it explained. Otherwise it sounds like fucking foreign language. So, the post is still live. Great. Perfect. Fantastic. So it's great. I love Camelot. He literally stuck his dick in a hornet's nest, and it's awesome to do that. But yeah, the VTuber community, don't mess with them. Don't mess with them. They're very protective of their pixels. Very, very protective. Matthew Self also said, did you catch his coded message in his apology message? FaZe is gay, Lamau. That had to be an accident. No way Camelot was smart enough to do that. So that was definitely a mistake. FaZe Connect is pretty gay. I know they're never going to let Pippa on the show, so it's not like I should beat around the bush. I think their management of Pippa has been pretty bad. Pretty bad, because they have the ability to bring people into that community who wouldn't otherwise be there. And there's lots of crossover between the views of people like Pippa and the views of other YouTubers that could be very beneficial. But, don't do it, I guess. Don't do it. But no, Pippa's very cool.